Hello, welcome aboard. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. And here we are now with pack 109, excuse me, of the DeAgostini massive 1/6 scale Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 from 1967. And what a beauty she's turning out to be. So, here we have pack 109, and it's a little bit special, this one. But first of all, we'll look at the magazine, as we always do. So, starting off here with Knight Rider, if you remember back a few years ago, it was 2008, but was it that long ago? The Knight Rider series was relaunched. Remember, Knight Rider used to be a Firebird, or was it a Trans Am? Or was it a Camaro? I think it was a Trans Am, wasn't it? And then they relaunched it using the S197 Mustang, as you can see here, with the red lights and everything in the Shelby Scoop. So, beautiful looking car, as you can see there. The second of the two Shelbys used in the series was modified to characterise those points in the story when Kit was transformed into attack mode. So there you can see massive air intake on the hood, air intakes on the side, great big tyres, big exhaust coming out the side. And there's the stars of the show there with the Mustang. So coming over the page here, Charles Lindbergh connecting two continents. After World War I, the commercial future of the airplane was uncertain, partly because aircraft engines were generally thought to be too unreliable to fly over long distances. However, a daring pilot from Detroit took up the challenge of a non-stop flight across the Atlantic. So I'm not going to read it all out, but I'm trying to see why we've got cars linked with flights across the Atlantic. But there it is nonetheless. So that's a 1928 Franklin Airman Sports Sedan. And then here, Charles was just 14 years old when he drove the family's 1917 Saxon 6. This one appeared in the 1929 American movie The Country Gentleman. There's a LaSalle convertible. And there's Spirit of St. Louis, the famous aircraft in which Charles Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic in 1927. The plane is now on display in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. The Earnhardt NASCAR saga, Dale Earnhardt Jr. See all about him there. Dale Earnhardt Jr., son of Dale and grandson of Ralph, is also a successful driver, having 2 victories in the Busch Series and 23 in the NASCAR Series. Here he is driving his car in 2008. Blimey. Mountain Dew. Lovely. So, if we go to the build section, get straight to it. You can see here we have the body. Okay, now there's no actual work to do. It's just telling us to have a good look at it, enjoy it, store it away safely, and then you can see it with the front end sort of placed in position. So what I'm going to do, without further ado, is get it on the bench for you to have a look at. And here it is. And this car is going to be so heavy, it's going to be very difficult to film. That's something I hadn't considered when I started this. But you can see here, this body, you can see how big it is. There's both my hands on there. So yeah, she's gorgeous. And we've got the white stripes here, we've got some scratching there, but I think that's going to be covered up. I hope that's going to be covered up because that's quite nasty, that scratching there. It will be covered up because we've got screws there, they're not going to leave the screws exposed. And if we need to, I guess we could always repaint it, just a small area like that. But yeah, we can see we've got absolutely gorgeous. There's the aperture there for the rear window. You can see the rear windows are going to screw in, not glue in like those pocket kits. So that's going to be cool. And then we've got the rear end here, the rear panel where we're going to fit all the lights and everything. But you can see she's absolutely beautiful. The paint's lovely and lovely, really, really nice. Really looking forward to getting this all together. But it's going to be sad to see the end, that's the problem. So there we go. So without further ado, I've just said that, haven't I? I've said it again. I'm going to have a look at... Dottie doesn't like this body at all. As soon as I put the body near the floor, she's gone. We're going to have a look at pack 110. So here we are with pack 110. There was the sound of my old Mustang there. So yeah, SEMA show in Las Vegas is the highlight of the year for the American auto aftermarket industry. It's a trade-only event featuring the latest and best in add-on performance and customizing equipment. It is bloody amazing. If you go and have a look on YouTube, there's various videos. Absolutely amazing. So there we are, you can see a Mopar there. There's a Dodge Avenger. I recognise the front of it. It looks very much like the Dodge that we got in this country, doesn't it? I can't remember what it was called now. But it was quite cheap. It was very poorly built, and it was very expensive on spares. Volvoline Motor Company's stand at the very first SEMA show in 1967. There's a Mustang there. And then here we can see a Jeep, the SEMA Award Hottest 4x4 SUV. And then we've got the parts. We're going to be fitting some side air intakes. The Ford GT40, the chassis. The chassis is the most important element of a racing car. The vehicle depends on it to enable maximum performance to be achieved by the engine and running gear. That's correct. And I think, didn't the GT40 change through its life with its chassis? Maybe it'll tell us that in there. If you read in yours, if you have a read, you'll see the two chassis, 101 and 102, which were presented at Le Mans for the April 64 practice, ended up crashing. In less than 2 months, Ford built 3 new chassis and arrived in time for the first instalment of its great duel with Ferrari at Le Mans 24 hours. Yeah, the chassis of a GT40, unlike most cars with a tubular space frame, it was kind of a monocoque that was all sort of riveted together, and very unusual. This is one of the 2 Lola GT cars that are still in use today. It was last auctioned in 2014 and belongs to an American collector. There you can see the monocoque frame inside there. If you ever look inside an open door of a GT40, you'll see all this panelling, and it's not covering steel tubing, it's actually panelling, it's actually structural. There we go. You can see there's the front with the panelling down the sides. So what are we going to do in pack 110? So we have a look at the parts. So here is pack 110. So we'll get the top cut off without touching the parts. It won't cause any damage, do we? So they come in individual little pouches, and then we've got our screws here. We've got PSO8s and PSO5s. So we'll keep them in their packs for now. Those in their packs for now. So what's it telling us to do? So we've got these lovely air intakes. So these are for the rear quarter lights. Lots of little tiny bits of black plastic in here. Not sure what that's from. There's the quarter lights, and there's the air intakes on the sides. So prepare to attach the right lower air intake 110D marked with an R inside. So we'll get those out of the way. That'll be that one there, marked with an R inside. In its recess in the right hand side of the bodywork at the side of the door frame, note that the inside of the intake has 2 pins that determine the correct orientation of the part. Here we go, this is where they spread it out in the instructions, so they make 2 whole sections on just fitting this one piece. Insert the 2 pins into the right lower air intake holes in the bodywork, turn the body around and secure the intake with a PSO8 screw from the inside. So we need a PSO8 screw. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll pre-arm the screwdriver. I'm going to grab a soft cloth to put the body on. So this air intake is going to go into here. So we've got 2 little holes with a big hole, and 2 little pins, and a big hole and a big pin in the middle. So that's just going to clip in like that, and then we can turn the body over onto its roof. Now you can see the use of the cloth. So we'll come in from the door and we'll screw that air intake into position, just like so. What's next? I'll put this body on my knee, and I can look at the magazine, and then we're going to attach the left lower intake. So bring the body round here. There we go. Make sure we don't put it down on any screws or anything. Be really careful not to affect the paint. So there's a PSO8 and there's our spare. So that can go over there out of the way. The bag can go in the bin. So we'll pre-arm the screwdriver again, just like so. And then we can put the left air intake in over here. So that's just going to go into those holes. And then we'll come in through the door aperture again, just like so, and put that screw into there. Remember, don't over tighten these screws, guys, it's only plastic. Okay, so put put the body down. We're bound to scratch it, chip it at some point with all this handling. Now place the right upper air intake inside with the R inside, and we're going to secure it with 2 PSO5 screws, and we're going to do the same on the left hand side, and there you can see the final result. So we'll put the magazine to one side, get our cloth like this. Okay, so we're going to get our PSO5 screws out. There'll be one spare. Put that in the bin. Pre-arm the screwdriver just like so, and then we'll get the body up. Yeah. And we can see here that we have 2 holes in the bodywork. We'll grab the one with an R on the back. There's the one with the R on the back. So we've got those 2 lugs on there. They're simply going to pop into those 2 holes. We'll hold it in position, bring it over like that, and then we'll put a screw in. Just like so. Grab another screw, get it properly on the screwdriver, and in she goes. Just going to make sure they are pulled down nice and snug. This one here, I noticed when I touched it, it rattled, so it's probably not pulled down tight enough. Just check that one there. What was that? Something white just fell on her from nowhere. Where'd that come from? Must have been a bit of fluff on the camera or something. And then we're going to repeat this on the other side. So we're going to put this air intake here. I didn't preload the screwdriver, which was silly. The air intake staying in place. Okay, so we'll bring the body over here so I can get to the holes, and then we'll just put those screws into there like that, and then once again we will put another screw in that hole just like that. If you're not also watching it, if you haven't seen it, please subscribe, hit notifications bell. You'll see me also doing the DeAgostini Ferrari, the 330p4, which is absolutely beautiful. It was a lovely, lovely model. It's 1/8 scale, so it's not as bad to handle as this one, but it's still big nonetheless. So there we go. So there's our air intakes in place. So you can see she's growling like a Mustang already. You can hear it, can't you? So absolutely beautiful. So we'll call it a day there, guys, and I will see you back for, probably we'll do 111 and 112 together as well. I'll see you soon for that one. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.